The two new Kaldheim pre-constructed commander decks, Phantom Premonition and Elven Empire, have some really strong cards in them, but we're wondering, are the cards worth it? And is the deck strong enough to play?
We're going to talk about these new decks that I'm sure you've seen either at your local game store or your Walmart. We're going to go over the cards in them, and then we're going to take a closer look at the commanders themselves, and the video starts right now.
Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below.
Hello, and welcome to The Day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. We are going to talk about the Kaldheim Commander Precons and are they worth it, both from a financial standpoint and a gameplay standpoint. But before we do, if you would, by the end of the video, if you like the video, hit that like button, and if you don't like the video, hit that dislike button. It really helps us out.
If you are a fan of Jake and Joel Are Magic, click subscribe. It's the best way to support the channel with just the click of a button. We're going to take a look at these decks.
The commanders themselves, Lathril and Ranar, and we want to talk about the value of some of the singles that are in the boxes. So first, let's take a look at how much you have to pay to get the boxes themselves, and then we'll break down some of the singles. So we're here on Card Kingdom, and we have got the set of two available for $45. This is about the top of the line that I've seen. Jake, has it been the same for you?
Yeah, and you can actually find both of the decks for under $40 on eBay and other places. So if you shop around right now, you're going to be able to get a good deal on these decks. And remember, this is a 100 card ready to play. You will want to buy yourself some sleeves if you don't want to destroy the cards, but a ready to play deck for what's right around a $20 bill. So in a lot of these commander products, you're going to have very powerful cards. Fierce Guardianship, Deflecting SWAT, Teferi's Protection come to mind. Sometimes you're going to have a card in these commander decks that is worth the price of the deck.
Normally it takes a couple of months for people to go, wow, this card, right? Obviously, when you're looking at Fierce Guardianship with a free counterspell, or Teferi's Protection with a 3-mana get out of jail free card. Obviously, those were very high powered and very highly sought after right from the rip.
When Teferi's Protection first came out, and I could go back and look through because I ordered, I think, 8 of them on Card Kingdom when I first saw the card and saw it was spoiled. That card, when it first came out, I bought 8 of those at, I believe, $4.99 or $5.99.
Exactly.
It was just one of these cards that was kind of hyped up. And I'm not saying Cosmic Intervention is on the same power level as Teferi's Protection, but it is in that same kind of line of, like, you do have to give these decks time to breathe.
Under that, obviously, we've got the commanders themselves holding that $8 price point. We'll ignore the weird discrepancy in the foil. And then you've got, you know, Renard handing that $5 because I think this is a little bit underestimated as a commander right now. I've been a huge proponent of this commander ever since I really analyzed it and built around it and kind of broke it down. And so I think that these will go up, but I also think that's easy to say because, again, this is the only way to obtain them is to either buy them on the secondary market or buy them in this pre-constructed product. And so you normally see the commanders have that top spot, have that second spot. So we'll go further into the commanders in a little bit and talk about, are they worth it in and of themselves? But past that, we've got a solid amount of like $2 to $4 cards, Jake, that really help fill out the price of these. This Ghostly Prison is only a $4 card right here because it's got brand new art. This is the very first time we've seen this piece by Darkin on a Ghostly Prison. Normally it's either the Kamigawa that had the like literal ghostly looking tower or that lion inside of a cage thing that has been the main Ghostly Prison art. And so that's a cool one as an inclusion.
Ethereal Valkyrie.
Enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card, then exile a card from your hand face down as foretold, and it's 2 cheaper when you can cast it. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you look for, right? The above $2 cards that have the potential to break out. I wanted to highlight Stoic Farmer before we move on to the commanders, because this is falling in line with a big design space that they've been exploring for white in Commander over the past year, and that's help them with lands. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for planes, reveal it if you control more lands. If an opponent, controls more lands than you, put it onto the battlefield, tap straight up. Otherwise, you still get it into your hand. In a white deck, this is just a really good card. And again, I think Commander is a fantastic format for being unique and building your own stuff. And that's kind of the direction you should go with the format, is have fun. Don't worry about the staples. Don't worry about best in slot, unless of course you're playing CEDH. But Stoic Farmer seems like the kind of card to me that I'm always going to recommend if it's a white deck that doesn't also run green in it, for instance.
You can see with powerful cards like Soul Ring, Command Tower, Arcane Signet, and some of these cards that we're showing you that are $1 or more, it's very quickly, knowing that there's 100 cards in each of these decks, to get to that $20 price point. So as far as financially, is it worth it? Yes, but we should take a better look at those commanders to see if those abilities are really worth putting time in and making that the commander of your deck.
So first, let's take a look at Lathral. We have got an elf commander here that is going to do very important things for tribal: create elves and use those elves that are created. You can see over here behind Jake, I've got some of the other legendary elves that are available to be your commander, and so we wanted to compare them. Gerard gives you 2 colors. Mina and Den gives you 2 colors. Gerard's ability is obviously much stronger. Having cards in your graveyard affect his power toughness. Having a sacrifice engine that's only mana restricted, not tap restricted, plus each opponent losing life. Each opponent on any commander card is going to be a very, very good thing. Past that, you've got Izoni Thousand-Eyed, which also plays really heavily with graveyards. You've got a bunch of multicolor elves that don't really specifically say, I'm a tribal commander, essentially, but they have strong abilities. Whereas you have mono green elf legendaries that do say, I'm an elf commander, but you are limited to 1 color there. We would be remiss to not mention Abomination of Llanowar, because in my opinion, until Lathral was printed, this was one of the best, if not the best, elf tribal commander. It does take you in a certain direction. Abomination needs to attack. That's pretty much what it does. But it's still very strong, having vigilance and menace built into it. If you're going to Voltron it up, just give it some abilities.
Essentially, Voltron it up, get it through, generate a bunch of elves, tap them, profit. Green black elf with a good converted mana cost, a huge ability. I think it's absolutely worth playing. There's a reason why this general has so much buzz.
Now you can see here on the right the theme blink on EDH Rec. I'm looking at top commanders for blinking things, exiling them and returning them to the battlefield. Obviously with Rune you get access to 1 extra color in the direction of green, which is really strong. With a card like Aminatu, you get a direction of black in that deck as well, which is really excellent. Renard doesn't directly do that thing. It gives you extra value. It's a value engine for doing that thing with your deck. So you've got to build in enablers, unlike a card like Brago, which is going to be the same colors, or Yorion, which is the same colors. Brago is doing that thing on combat damage, and Yorion is doing it on an ETB. In general, I would say this commander is worth it if you want to build a commander that is using a unique ability from a set like Kaldheim, and you really want to lean into Foretell. And then if you can get creative and be that first person that really breaks the ability to passively be creating these 1/1 flying tokens that are spirits, so it's a relevant creature type, I also think Renard would be worth it for that. 4 mana cost, 2 good colors for EDH. I don't care what people say about white. Pretty decent if you combine it with something else. And
sure, you could jam some fun enchantments in here, like tokens you control get vigilance, or anthems, anything that's going to give your team +1/+1, anything like that to just go wide in the air and get in for more power. I think the commander itself is a little bit casual, again, just because it is going to need a lot of support to really explode. But if you are in a more casual EDH pod and you're just looking to play something new, I think this is a great spot to start.
Overall, like we said, if you can get these decks for 20 bucks each, you have got yourselves a deal. There's a lot of really good cards from $2 all the way up, and some of those cards will continue to climb.
They will be on the shelves. So if you're sitting there and you're like, hey, is it worth it for me to pick this up? If you don't have a commander deck, yeah, it absolutely is. It's a great spot to start. I like Lathral the most. I think that's a really fun deck. I love that ability on Lathral. I like those colors, green, black, more than I like white, blue. But I do think that both of the decks are strong.
Go check out the great upgrades videos that I've got for each of the commanders. Those will show you the competitive way that you can kind of start leaning these decks. Other than that, hit that subscribe button on your way out, and we'll catch you later.
Until next time, we'll see you on the Flippity.